Well, everyone, all systems are a go. Apple's September 9th event is just days away, and this is going to be your one-stop shopping for everything that you need to know right before Tim Cook takes the stage and says,
"Good morning!"
Now, if you've been following along with the leaks, you know that there's a lot flying around, so let's cut through all the noise and get straight into the lineup. First, let's talk about Apple's #1 selling iPhone. This is the entry-level iPhone 17, and it's finally going to be growing a little bit. Now, we're going from a 6.3-inch display up from 6.1 inches. Now, whether or not that matters, you'll have to ask her. But more importantly, we are getting ProMotion across the entire lineup. Now, it's not the same LTPO panel that we see on the Pro models, but this will still give us 60 to 120 hertz in refresh rate, which means smoother animations, better battery life, and support for always-on features like you see with standby mode. Now, next up, the cameras. The iPhone 17 rear cameras will stay dual stack lenses, whether they orientate them, one on top of the other or kind of in a X shape, who knows, they change that every year. But the front-facing camera will jump to 24 megapixel sensor, which is double the resolution that we've had almost forever since the iPhone 11 or iPhone 12. Battery should see a slight bump update with the new A19 chip. But now overall, I think this is the second year in a row that Apple is delivering significant or meaningful updates to the iPhone 17 model. And if you've been waiting for upgrade, I think this is gonna be a year where you're gonna get the most bang for your buck. Next, the iPhone 17 Air is where Apple is gonna shake things up a little bit. The iPhone 17 Air is set to replace the Plus model of the iPhone, and the story here, it's all about the thinness. Coming in at just 5.5 millimeters at its slimmest point, this will have a titanium frame and a 6.6, 6.7 inch display depending on which leak you want to believe. Now, it's a design statement, no doubt about it, but it will be thinner than the Pro model, which measures 8.8 millimeters thick. I don't know, it's gonna be kind of thin, and I'm totally here for it. But no good deed goes unpunished, and that razor-thin design is gonna come with trade-offs. First, it's going to be the camera. You will get a single 48 megapixel camera, which is the same camera that they have on the iPhone 16e, as well as the new 24 megapixel front-facing camera. We'll also get the action button plus a dedicated camera control button, which Apple will need to do a better job explaining why we need to use it, say, more than twice ever. Of course, it will have USB-C, and for the first time ever, it will be eSIM only. Now, some people don't like eSIM. I've had nothing but good experience with it on carriers here in the US, but if you've had like a heartbreaking tale of going to eSIM, let me know about it down in the comments below. Now, the internals are a little bit murky. Some reports are saying it's going to be A19 non-Pro version, and others are saying it's going to be the A19 Pro with one just less GPU core that will be disabled or binned. Either way, it's going to pair with 12 gigabytes of RAM, which is the standard across all iPhone 17 models this year. That battery, though, that is going to be the second downside, folks, coming in around 2800 milliamp hours. Now, that's supposed to be smaller than the iPhone 12. I have no idea how Apple is going to manage this. Some are suggesting that they'll use some new magic Apple intelligence feature to manage battery life, but all-day battery life, it's probably going to be kind of tough here, folks. Even with the premium Air branding, you are absolutely paying for the thinness and not necessarily the versatility, which is kind of weird on the iPad lineup. It's a little bit different. The iPad Pro is the thin one and the iPad Air is the thicker one. Either way, I think this will be the most polarizing device of 2025, which is expected to cost $899 to start. Now let's talk about the pros. Rumors are pointing to a shift away from using a titanium back to aluminum, which I think at this point is kind of hard to believe, but you never know. We switched away from aluminum a few years back, but the standout new feature here is that full width visor camera bump on the back, which houses the brand new camera internals, which we'll talk more here in just a moment. We'll also get slimmer bezels on the front, more compact dynamic island, and two new colors, one copper orange, which is so hot, as well as deep blue will join the lineup. Now the cameras is where things really get wild. We are seeing three 48 megapixel sensors across the board for the wide, the ultra wide, and the first time ever, the telephoto. Now that will unlock up to 8 times optical zoom, and some reports are even suggesting that we might get continuous variable zoom where you can smoothly move between two different focal lengths instead of being locked on to one point, which is what you see in most modern cameras. The front-facing camera will also jump to 24 megapixels, paired with a brand new anti-reflective, scratch-resistant display, which should be one of the most noticeable day-to-day upgrades that we've seen in years on the iPhone Pro models. For performance, the A19 Pro chip features a 6-core GPU, 12 gigs of RAM, again, standard across the lineup, and bigger batteries across the board, with the Pro model getting up to a 5,000 milliamp hour battery. Now, that is literally backed by vapor chamber cooling for thermal control, and for the first time ever, we're getting 35-watt wired charging across the lineup. Now, the only bad news? Multiple analysts are saying that we should expect a price increase somewhere in the neighborhood of $50 on the Pro and Pro Max this year, most likely tied to tariffs and rising component costs. Now, if you are fired up about the new iPhones like I am, go ahead and smash that subscribe button because I have more iPhone 17 content coming the moment that Tim steps right off the stage and that you do not want to miss. Next, this year, the Apple Watch Series 11 is all about efficiency. There's a brand new S11 chip that's smaller, more power efficient, and has modest design tweaks, as well as having rumored blood pressure alerts. Very important because many people do have high blood pressure. You won't get the full readings, but it will at least get hypertension detection, and that is a very big deal. Now, the Ultra might see the first true redesign with waterfall edges, slimmer bezels, and a potentially larger 52mm casing. Now, this makes sense because the display technology that's going into the Apple Watch Ultra 3 will be the same LTPO3 OLED panel that was in the Series 10 from last year, which gave it that waterfall design, and we should get better always on and faster refresh rates. Feature-wise, we're getting satellite messaging, SOS, and maybe even 5G support. I don't know, I don't use the web browser on my Apple Watch. To you, I mean, it just seems kind of silly. Either way, the Apple Watch SE will see its first update in 3 years. Rumors are saying that it will borrow from the older chassis from the Series 7 or Series 8 and be paired with a mid-tier internals. And it's shaping up being the best budget option in the lineup. Now, I, for one, would love to see Apple target the SE towards kids. My kid is now at the age where I want to give him like an Apple Watch, but I don't think he should have a phone. If you'd love to see that, let me know down in the comments below. AirPods Pro are expected to get their first major update in a while. We are getting new design tweaks leaning towards the AirPods 4 styling with new vents and a brand new H series chip that should be able to deliver stronger ANC, improved transparency, as well as better overall fidelity. Now, the kicker here is that it should be built-in heart rate monitoring, just like the Powerbeats Pro 2, but honestly, I haven't seen many companies update their apps to support heart rate monitoring on the Powerbeats Pro 2. Either way, Apple's turning AirPods into a health wearable that will be tightly integrated into Apple Intelligence, which makes all this more sense because it's probably the most universal accessory that they sell. And speaking of accessories, Apple looks finally ready to move past the fine woven disaster from a few years back. Instead, you can expect tech woven and liquid silicone cases, both designed to feel much more durable and premium than what we had before. And here's a quirky one. You have a magnetic crossbody strap that has a flexible metal core, and it will use magnets to attach to your iPhone at full length without any type of hooks or straps. It's kind of a practical accessory for carrying your iPhone, which kind of makes sense because Apple's been leaning harder into magnets, and this could be the next example for them. Now, don't count out the extras. We have AirTags 2, which are rumored to be the same size, but have better ultra wideband support, which means they're now being more accurate into a larger area, which is supposed to be 100 meters, with stronger anti-stalking protections. Now, I for one wish they made AirTags with Qi 2 recharging like some of the companies are doing with their wallet trackers. I don't want to buy these little batteries, they're just a pain in the butt. And for Macs and iPads, I would not expect that they're here at all. Apple tends to keep these things for October, alongside bigger things like macOS and iPadOS hardware pushes. So if you're holding out for a brand new M5 iPad Pro or even refresh Macs, don't hold your breath. September's all about the iPhone, watch, and wearables. And of course, this is going to drop alongside all the OS updates for the iPhone, iPad, Mac, and Apple Watch, and Apple TV as well, which should come out the Tuesday after the event. Now, if you are updating on day one, get ready. It's going to be an action-packed week across all your devices. Now, that, my friend, is going to be the full picture. I want to know from you, if you are upgrading this year, which iPhone do you think you're going to upgrade to, or what are you going to buy? You're going to get the Apple Watch? You're going to get the new AirPods Pro? Let me know down in the comments below, or hit me up on Threads, where my username is @Caputo, and I'll see you the Tuesday after the breakdown. My name is Mike, and I'm out of here.